Julia Fox, do you remember her? She was Kanye West's girlfriend, I think, for a while. Julia Fox, and maybe she's an actress or a model or something like that. Julia Fox has just come out on some show and said that she is celibate. She is chaste, but she's taking it further. She says, because she's not married, she says, I'm celibate. I don't have sex in order to take back control in the wake of the Dobbs decision overruling Roe v. Wade.
Julia, Rachel A. texted, what's your reasoning behind being celibate, and in what ways do you believe it has improved your life?
Well, I just think nothing good comes from having sex, including children. No, I'm just kidding. But, I think with the overturning of Roe v. Wade and, our rights being stripped away from us, this is a way that I can take back the control. And it just sucks that it has to be in that way. But I just don't feel comfortable until things change.
Wow. Do you have an end date to this?
I honestly, it was like 6 months and it was a year, and then I'm like, oh my God, it's almost 2.5 years and it's still going, and I don't know.
Do you
it's
miss
gonna take
it?
a miracle.
Do you miss it?
In the beginning, yes, but I think it's just like getting over anything, smoking, drugs, whatever it may be. Eventually, you just forget, and then all that energy that you were putting toward sex, you can put it toward.
Can I ask you a
things.
personal question?
Woo! Yeah, you go, girl. You go, girl. You show those conservatives who overruled Roe v. Wade. You show them. You take back control by behaving in the way that we would encourage you to behave. That is, woo! I'm not being facetious. Woo! I think it's great. Because very often culture is downstream of politics, and the law is a teacher. When you change laws, you change people's behavior. And there have been some squishes who have said, no, you can't change the law and then wait for the law to change people's behavior. That would, one, be tyrannical, or at least two, be totally ineffective, because you got to just base the laws on how people are already behaving. Nah, not necessarily. The law is a teacher. And so when you say, hey, if you have promiscuous sex, you won't be able to murder your child, then people are going to rationally conclude that if they don't want to have another child, they probably shouldn't have promiscuous sex, which is going to be good for her. Look, she seems happier than I've ever seen her in any interview or not that I'm a huge Julia Fox aficionado, but she seems actually relatively well balanced. She goes, yeah, I'm kind of doing me. I'm not having sex outside of marriage. I'm not fornicating. I'm just kind of, and it's good. I took back my power. And yes, you're right. You did. And you did that because conservatives changed a law. And then the law changed your behavior, and now everyone's happier. Babies aren't being murdered quite as much or in the same way. Unfortunately, we still have to work on that. And your behavior is better and more conducive to your own flourishing and to flourishing of society. There's so much more to say. First, though, go to puretalk.com/Knowles. In America, we are incredibly fortunate to have brave men and women who volunteer to serve in our military. They dedicate their lives to protecting our freedom and ensuring our nation's security. These men and women voluntarily lay their lives on the line for us, but when their service ends, transitioning to civilian life can be difficult, especially given the current economic climate. That is why Pure Talk proudly supports America's Warrior Partnership. Since 2014, America's Warrior Partnership has worked with tens of thousands of veterans in its quest to stop veteran suicide and help veterans and their families live the purposeful lives that they deserve. You can join the fight. New customers who switch to Pure Talk can make a one-time donation matched dollar for dollar by Pure Talk or round up their initial order at checkout. If you are already a Pure Talk customer, you can also make recurring donations by rounding up your monthly bill. Pure Talk saves the average family over $900 per year. How about we give some of that savings back to our nation's veterans who give their lives and risk their lives to protect us? Go to puretalk.com/Knowles, Knowles, to make the switch. Choose a wireless company that shares your values and is half the price of Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile. Go to puretalk.com/Knowles. Upgrade your cell service to America's most dependable 5G network, puretalk.com/Knowles. There's a new report out that millennials are not taking time off. They're not taking their PTO, but they are going on vacation. And the way they're going on vacation is quiet vacationing, where they go on vacation, but they don't really tell their bosses. They just don't quite work as much. And even though they've got paid time off, they won't register their paid time off. They'll pretend that they're working, but they'll actually be on vacation. Why is that? This is based on a new Harris Poll survey. 78% of U.S. workers say they don't take all of their PTO days. That is highest among Gen Z and millennials, but they do take their vacation through what they call a giant workaround culture. Okay. It pains me to defend my fellow millennials. And the Zoomers, I think, are a little bit more grounded in reality than the millennials. But the millennials, this is my generation, the Obama generation, wrong about so many things. Here, I totally get it. I totally get why they're not taking official PTO and why they are just kind of quietly going on vacation. The reason is not just that they're dishonest. The reason is not just that they're suck-ups and they want it to seem like they're always working. And the reason is that there is no such thing as time off anymore. There is no such thing as time off because of the smartphone and because of tablets and laptops, because people are expected to be working 24/7. This is especially true if you have a white-collar job. If you have a blue-collar job where your body is more important in the performance of the job, then it's hard for you to be working all the time because the masters of the universe who control our economy haven't figured out how to bring a tractor, in your pocket yet. Once they do, though, you'll be working all the time too. But especially for white-collar jobs, laptop jobs, phone jobs, you have your office in your pocket all the time. And so if you go on vacation, you're going to get calls, you're going to get emails, you're going to be expected to respond to at least some of them. So it seems to me what the millennials are doing and the Zoomers are doing is they're just adapting to that fact. And they're saying, okay, I will never get a formal vacation, but I'll at least be able to slack off a little bit for a week or two at a time, which I get. And frankly, that is worse for them and probably better for the company than if they just took their time off. But this is what we do in modernity. We erase all boundaries. There used to be a very firm boundary between work and home. There used to be a very firm boundary between work and vacation. And maybe you'd make a call from your hotel room to check in at the office once, but probably you wouldn't. Now there's no boundary. There used to be a very firm boundary between nation and other nation. Now we're kind of erasing those borders. There used to be a very firm boundary between men and women. Now we're erasing those borders. So much of modernity is just about jumbling everything up, just mixing it all up into this kind of gray hodgepodge of goop. That's what it is. So you're never on vacation and you're never really at work. You're never at home. You're never really at the office. You're just always just in this kind of gooey middle ground. And in part, not to go too down the rabbit hole here, this is because modernity and liberalism denies time and history and just you're kind of in this eternal present. This is why the libs are always talking about how we're going to upload our brains to the cloud. And this is why the libs and the moderns are so focused on never aging and never growing up and never getting married, never having kids, and because you just want to stay the same forever. You just want to live in this gray middle ground forever. Not good, not going to make people happy. But don't blame the millennials for it. They're just reacting to the changing political circumstances. That was a great clip. Now, hold up, ring that bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel. See you next time.